GKFX Prime presents the Market Analysis Webinar.
Welcome traders, welcome to another week in the markets. My name is Dima. I've got another week of setups, trading opportunities for you here. Thank you for joining me. Let's get into what we've got this week and what are the higher probability scenarios to look at. Hope you've been having a good month. My guess is that it's perhaps been a bit of a challenging one. And of course, it is August, the summer months, the quiet month. And no wonder we've seen the markets be a bit different and a little bit slower than usual. And you may have struggled with that a little bit. Well, it's September very soon. Last week of August, we've got the new month Friday, and it is the NFP week. So we should see some volatility kick in, a bit more action in the market from the end of this week onwards in September once everyone is back. So let's have a look, let's anticipate, and let us go over what we've got for this week and for September as well. Should be an interesting one. So I'm going to start with the economic calendar as usual. Tuesday we've got on the dollar consumer confidence and jobs numbers. Not the biggest news, but we may have some movement based on that. On dollar pairs, Wednesday we've got CPI estimate numbers, a bit of a minor news there on euro, and on CAD we've got the GDP figures. So that's Wednesday. On Thursday we've got on Swiss franc got CPI numbers, and on Friday is the big news, NFP. So that will be one very much to look for, see how it affects the setups and the markets as a whole. So it could affect a lot of markets, not just dollar pairs. So I'll mark that out here. Definitely one to pay attention to. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got with the technicals on the charts. I'm going to go with the majors and move on from there as I normally do. Right, start with the big one on euro. So we've got euro clear downtrend, been downtrend for a very long time now, and we've got the past 2 weeks closing lower. We've got these clear bearish candles, and I'm looking for this week to be a continuation of that movement. If I look to the monthly and zoom out, we've got a level right here to look at. And we are now reaching into that level of the next. Let's bring this down. Let's have a look here. This level right here, if you could see it, pointed out 96 or so. So we're coming down into this area, and the next extreme swing point, if we look to the left side, we've got this level here. So bit more downside momentum is possible. Let's look at the daily 4 hour. Here's the start of the current week. So as usual, looking for a nice better price to retrace to during the week, and then a continuation to the downside into the previous week's low and further down into that 0.98, then 0.97 and 96 level. So lots of pips to go between here and there. So you can catch a small move or a bigger move and still profit. That's the euro dollar. And then we've got its opposite. We've got the dollar Swiss. So the opposite of the dollar Swiss in this uptrend. We were looking earlier, previous weeks, to come up into this zone, which we have done now. And then last week, if you saw, we had this level here where the market spiked into, rejected, and now we're heading higher. So with that higher price. You can see on the weekly here, we closed a bullish candle. We've got this area we're looking for a possible reversal of to continue to the higher time frame, the bigger picture downside. So based on that, we are still now in a possible retracement. So not expecting too much here, not a favorite setup here, but at least in the short term, I would like to see a nice bullish move. So let me just delete everything here, clear this up. So looking for a better entry will be the opposite of what we saw on the euro. So on the euro we're looking for a expensive price to come to the downside, and on the dollar Swiss, which is the usually moves in opposite to the euro, we're looking for the opposite to be true. So a nice move down into a cheaper price to then continue to the upside. So the cheaper price would be possibly down here, a nice retracement, and then a continuation to the upside. At the minimum, I would say previous week's high, and possibly further into the next obvious high, which would be up here, looking left to the swings that have come before in the past. So that's the idea on the dollar Swiss in terms of higher probability. And then we've got another dollar pair continuing on the dollar bullishness from last week. We've got dollar CAD. Looking on the weekly, you can see here previous week ended up bullish, closing higher than the week before that. And now if I mark out a level looking at to the left, we've got a level, oops, that's not the right one, got a level here, and we've got one clearly higher up there. Now, of course, the market doesn't have to go all the way here. You can make money in the middle. Let's look on the 4 hour once again. So similar idea to the dollar Swiss. It's a similar kind of pattern, uptrend, and then we want a nice cheaper price to get in on. So a retracement and then continuation to the upside. Now we've got this fairly wide region here, and obviously the lower it goes, the better the price, cheaper the price, and nicer risk to reward opportunity there. But that may not happen, might get a smaller retracement, and we'll have to see on the price action spot the reversal of that retracement to the downside, and then a continuation to the upside. So that's the dollar CAD. Okay, next let's move on to the other pairs. I've got Euro Yen here as the next in line. Okay, monthly, you've got overall higher highs and higher lows. Looking at this to be the retracement, it's a bit of a excuse me, tricky one to look at, because on the one hand we've got these lower lows and lower highs we were looking at, but at the same time, on a much bigger picture, looking at this whole thing, the market is heading higher. Now, what I'm going to look at here is what I can see is these line of wicks, indicating that a possibility that the market will go a little bit higher still. So let's have a look here. We've got this gap in the price. The market may move to, and then it may move even further up. That could be a second objective. So from here, look at the 4 hour, going to look for a cheaper price. We've got a gap in the market right here, perhaps wait for a retracement and then continuation to the upside. Now, because of this big range in the market, it's not very clear where we're going. We can see this, let me just draw here this rectangle, a little bit more obvious. And if I just take this away, we have a level up here, we have a level up here, and the next one up here. So if this does create an interesting entry down here, then this would be first target, and then second and third. However, of course, obviously it could be the opposite scenario could be true. So if we do break this level right here, that will be a significant swing point. So looking lower, then a possible retracement. This is just an example. It's for example purposes only. I'm not saying it's going to happen exactly like this. So this would be the alternative scenario on euro yen. So at the moment, maybe one to completely stay away from, because the probabilities are not really in our favor. It does look at it like on a longer, bigger time frame. We've got this continued push to the upside based on that, but you can obviously see here from the chart, these swing lows and these swing highs are indicating one direction, which is to the downside. So probability is less than other pairs, less than the setups other setups we are seeing this week. And we'll have to see how the market plays out and what it wants to tell us, where it wants to go. So we may want to see a bit more information, a bit more data, a few more candles printed before making a decision on that one. Now, what do we go to next? We'll go to another minor pair. We've got New Zealand Swiss here. Okay, so monthly picture, we've got previous very clear bearish action, price action here. The previous week, what happened there? Well, we can see it ended up bearish. We've got this long wick. The previous one to that candle closed very weak as well. So I'm going to be expecting the continuation to the downside. Here's one level, and here's the next level down. Looking at the daily, maybe 4 hours a bit clearer, because we've got this very unclear price action, this range, but recent price action to the downside combined with the higher time frame indicates that we've got more bearishness coming. So here's the 4 hour. I'm going to stick to that bearishness, and we've got this big gap in price that we can see in the market. You can also draw a level, sort of a zone right here with the swings right here and here. So we may have this zone to watch out for. Price retracing back down, back up into here before continuing to the downside. Now, it may give this price, it may not, I do not know, but if it does and reach that level and there's favorable price action to reverse down to the upside, we'll have a fair few pips to continue to go there, and that will be the 59 whole number. So that's New Zealand Swiss here. Not one I would typically trade, to be honest with you, and not one that I would recommend to others, because New Zealand Swiss is a not the most traded one. It's a bit funny with price action. As you can see, we've got lots of wicks here on many candles. It's not always very clear. It doesn't produce a very nice, smooth flow in the market. So not one for, I would say, beginners or those with lack of patience, the minor pair. So reason to go with this one is this one just caught my attention because the others didn't for the week before, and week before that there wasn't the best. So I was looking at other potential setups, and in this case this looks like a bit more higher probability than others. Right, what can I see next? Let's have a look. Let's move on to what we got next. Let's go next. We've got S&P. Yeah. So with S&P, we've been looking at this level for the market to retrace to for quite some weeks, which it has done. It just hit it, pipped it up here, went to the zone and moved well away from there. Looking at the daily, I can see that we've broken one structure here from this low. We went through it, and then we broke another one right here. So this is an indication that we may be seeing some more downside in the market now that we've come off this level and then we've broken structures. Once again, with that bias, with that idea in your mind, we can look for a better price. So a better price would be a retracement here, and the market may give an even deeper retracement up into this zone, which would be, you can see the gap in the market here, and this not only gap between the candles, but also a gap in price where market tends to fill the candle bodies here. So I'm going to draw this level up here and see which level is going to be more important when the market reaches it and when it reacts and when it actually prints more candles. Of course, liking the higher price, because that's a better risk to reward. And from there, or from a lower level, or from a lower level, we'll have a high probability scenario to continue to the downside, and the next downside would be this swing right here at this low. Okay, and possibly even lower, perhaps down to here and to here in the very, very long term, but that is quite some time away, so I'm not going to really predict that. I'm just going to see what the market does and then respond accordingly. So again, want to see a nice price action before doing anything there. All right, so that's the S&P in terms of probabilities. And okay, lastly, I'm gonna go with Bitcoin. Okay, so here's Bitcoin last week, and in fact the previous 2 weeks, bearish situation, and candle closed very, very weak. Very obvious to see that. Looking on the daily, last week I was looking at this level for the market to continue into a deeper retracement. However, Bitcoin surprised us and actually went to the downside and just boom, collapsed right there, as you can see. So from there, and these breaks of structures in the market, here I'm looking at this one, got possible downside here, and now this level that I was looking to trade from has turned into a level in the future to look at right here. So if I just remove this, we could now be having something more like so, and heading down to where, well, you guessed it, the previous low, significant low, and that will be a nice decent risk to reward trade right there. So if we do get the price action, then the reversal. However, if we do continue to go up, then this whole idea, this whole picture of the market continuing to the downside from here would be invalidated, and then we are no longer concerned with that. So we're going to have to look at the market again and just reassess the situation based on what the candles tell us and price action with the analysis. So yeah, let's see. It's going to be an interesting one, and because Bitcoin is in dollars, that NFP may have some kind of bearing on the price here. But remembering the news, we do have a bunch of dollar pairs in this week's analysis. We have Euro, which will be affected as well. We have a Swiss, so we've got Swiss news this week too. And of course, S&P does begin to move on or after big news drivers. So that's what to pay attention to in the market this week. So let's see where it goes. I would give you a note of caution, as I have, I think, before. During NFP weeks, we do have slightly more unpredictable behavior. You may want to sit out Friday and even Thursday sometimes, and maybe even if you're in doubt, wait until next week. There will be another opportunities. There always are, especially the beginning of the month. We've got September. I'm just looking at my calendar, and that will be the first week. First is Thursday. 2nd of September is Friday, which is the NFP day, and then after that, the coming 2-3 weeks of September should be interesting and perhaps a bit more clear in terms of the overall direction that the market wants to take on the higher time frame. And that will give you a bit more clarity if you feel like you've got a bit too much noise going on at the moment. You can see we've had a lot of sideways movement lately here on New Zealand Swiss, a lot of sideways movement, dollar Swiss, a lot of sideways movement, Bitcoin. So it hasn't always been clear, has it? Let's see how it plays out. Manage your risk as always, and do pick your setups carefully and the opportunities. These are the probabilities that I personally just see at the moment. Not all of them are the highest probability setups. Do use, please, your own discernment, and like I said, manage your risk according to your own risk parameters. So my name is Dima. Thank you very much for joining me this week, and hope this helps. Feel free to comment, share your setups and ideas for this week. If there's something that's not been on these charts, if there is another chart that looks interesting to you. So thank you. Talk to you soon, and bye for now. See you next week at the beginning of the week for more setups, and then probably, my guess is, perhaps a clearer chart when everybody's back in first week of September, and then we will go from there, have a bit more clarity. Yeah, protect your capital and risk, respect your risk. Talk to you soon. Bye for now. All right. See you.